Hi, this is Tonya again, and I'm here to introduce an assessment tool, Edulastic. Edulastic actually is improved over the years since I've last taught it. And if you're thinking about getting something that emulates the state testing, connecting it to standards, making it interactive with the type of tools and the drop and the drag and drop and the interactivity of it, and also adding the function of creating quizzes out of PDFs and documents that you already have, then Edulastic is going to be a wonderful assessment tool for you. It also adds the always powerful feedback, analytical data that from the auto grade, from it analyzing how the students did and percentages and that kind of stuff. So let's get into Edulastic. Basically, I just went to sign in. It's not, if you can't see it, it's underneath my video corner video thing. It's right underneath it. I don't know if you can see my mouse there. I tried to move the video a couple times here, but I'm going to sign in with Google. And just like any other tool, and the students can sign in with Google as well. It's all single sign-on with your G Suite tools. It also integrates very well with Google Classroom. So right here it's saying all the things related to Google Classroom, and basically it's saying it in the name of me. Sanders at NWOET.org. I'm going to be doing those things. It makes it sound like Edulastic's going to be doing it, but I'm the one who's going to be manipulating and using Edulastic for my classroom. So it's authenticating me, and we can put in a school address here or a name, and maybe also if there's a specific account that's being utilized by your district or it connects you to other teachers. That's the nice ability of doing that. So I'm going to put in 43403 because that's BGSU where I am right now. So I'm going to put Bowling Green State University and then proceed. And I'm going to just see what that does. Normally I'll use a K-12 option. And I'm going to say other, and then I'm going to put in my subjects, which are computer, and I'll say other there as well. And so you're seeing me literally set up this for me. The last option for signing up, I typed in Ohio, and it brings up everything associated with Ohio, and I just kind of scrolled up and down to find the one that I wanted, and I'm going to use Ohio Standards for Professional Development since I teach teachers. But you can scroll through there and find the ones that fit you. And then I'm going to hit Get Started. So now I'm in here, and I can sync this with my Google. I can create a new class. I'm going to hit sync with my Google Classroom, and I'm going to choose one of my highly populated classes under my Sanders at NWOET account. So I double clicked on that, and I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to allow, and then it's probably going to access all my classes. And I'm going to add that classroom. My Wi-Fi is really slow today and lagging, but this originally came up for me where I can, I'm going to deselect all of the classes. These are all of my Google classes that exist under my Sanders account. And then I'm just going to choose one of these classes, and I'm going to choose my transitioning to one-to-one, and then I'm going to make this the only class that I bring in. I could import all the other ones, but I'm just going to hit import, and let's see what happens here. So the sync with Google is always there, so if I change my mind and I want my other classes to come in, I can do that as well. And you can see how slowly it is coming in, but here's my transitioning 100% online class. And there's 41 students in that, and I have 0 assignments connected to my Edulastic option. Okay, so I can also just create a class from blank, but since I already use Google Classroom, I use the sync option for Google Classroom, and I've heard that it's also connected to Schoology in some way, and we'll see how that develops as we click through here. Now I went over here to my left-hand side, and I'm just going to hit the dashboard, and it takes me back to my class. Now I can add an assignment here because I don't have any assignments connected to that class, so that's my dashboard. and then I also can go into that class and see, and this is all through Edulastic. It looks very much like Google Classroom. It added the Edulastic picture. This is not my picture that I used in Google Classroom, but it's similar in the way that it looks right now. So if I want to create an assignment, when I click in here, and this is one of the things that it champions on its front page, that it says that you have a library of thousands of assessments that are already created for you. So I can hit browse all and then go and find some assessments out there based on my criteria. So maybe I want to search for math and some different grade levels, and based on standards, and based on collections and tags. Since my other is a little bit ambiguous, I went and I removed up here, I removed the content area as other. I'm doubting if anyone is classifying themselves as other on these things, as in like other subject matter. So I just kind of took that out and I put grade 6 in, and you can see that I found some assessments in here that I can use for my class. I think that's great when any of these amazing tools already have built-in content that's monitored and managed at a high level on their website. Yeah, so this is kind of neat. Now I can still create new tests on my own, but if I want to use one of theirs, I just click on it and then I can put it into my classroom and add it as an assignment. Okay, so I kind of paused there for a minute, got lost in their library. It is kind of neat. So definitely take the time to go through and organize and advanced search some things that you want that are in their built-in library. But I'm just going to click on one of the assessments, and when it comes up, it tells you the grade level, grade 1, 2, 11 plus. It has no tags in it, 27 points, 20 items. And then I can preview it. I can assign it directly to my class, clone, or look at the details. So I'm going to go to the details first. And so I'm reviewing it in here. And this is someone built it in there. So I can click on that question and see how it works. And it'll mimic kind of what the students are going to see in that test. And then I can select my answer and check it, show answer, erase, and I can't edit this one, but duplicate, and then I can go to full screen. And then you can see which level, who created it, and which level they've labeled it as, and then the standards that are connected to it. And remember, in my search, my original search, I could have searched by content standard as well, based on what I set up in that very initial setup when I was doing this. Now, this looks a lot like Schoology to me, the assessment feature. And if you've never seen it before, you have the options of, like, here's the question, you have the tabs at the top, and then here's the settings for that test. And you can go through those settings to fit the preferences of what you want. Do you show the calculator? Do you have rubric grading? And there's some advanced options, and I'm not sure if, I haven't seen anything on Edulastic where it's free at this time for teachers. But you might want to look into that, and or have your tech person look into it to see if there is a free option for teachers at this time. And then at the top, I like that it gives me the option of printing it, duplicating it for myself, because I want to alter it in that way, or adapt it for it to use for my students, or I want to adapt it per class period and differentiate it based on the instructional needs of my students in there. And then I can also hit assign, and then assign all the information settings, and then tell which class I want to assign it to. And I only have one class in there as well. And there's that upgrade now, so you can see that what are the advanced options that you may or may not be getting with this free version, or this trial version of Edulastic. Okay, so I've figured out a couple things. I clicked on the E, and it expands this so you can see the dashboard is just basically, it takes me back to all my stuff. But I wanted to create my own test on my own assignment. So I can do new assignment, or I can do it from test. And I wanted to show you these too. This is kind of exciting, that there are question banks based on my search criteria. So I was looking for test. So it showed me all these test assessments that are available for me. And then also there's these question banks. So I can build a test or assessment for my students based on these question banks. So I can just hit add and have that be part of the test, the new test that I'm going to create. And you can see that as I go through, I always call it, like in the good old days in Blackboard, they used to call it a question pool. And then I'd jump in, dive into the pool, and I'd grab all the questions that I want and put them into my new test. So that's kind of neat that you can kind of create that as well. But what I want to do is just hit new item and show you all the question options that you have. And this is something that they get excited about with Edulastic, is that there's so many options for you to create new items, new questions, or resources from that. But the one thing that I do want to show you is a new test. And then you can do it from scratch, which I will do in a little bit, but I want to kind of show you this cool feature. If you have a PDF, or let's say you even have a printed piece of paper that's an old test that you used to use, it's pretty awesome, you like it. So, and if it's numbered, it's better, because the example that I'm going to show you is a little bit weird because it's not numbered and the students might get a little confused. You can upload that. So if I have a printed copy of something that I used to use, I can scan it in our printer, and then I can upload that PDF. You can also continue with blank, where you give the students this PDF, and in a blank area, they answer the questions. This one makes more sense to me, so I'm going to upload. I can also get it from my Google Drive, and then I can drag and drop. I could open up my Finder and just drag it over. But the thing that I want to use is this math worksheet that I found online. Now, it does have the answers on the back side of it, so I would have removed those already. So in here, I can name this test, and then I can put my description in here. And then I would make this a little bit more detailed and better for the students. And then I can put in which grade level, I can put which subject it is math, and then I can put some tags in. Now, I added some tags, but let's say, math, create a new tag so that other people can search it, or I can find it based on tags. So there we go. And this is the thing that I was telling you at the beginning of this video, is that you have the description, you have the worksheet. So there's my worksheet that I brought in. I can review what it looks like after I've added some things, and then here's the settings of the test that I told you about. And I am going to show you that upgrade. Well, let's show you now. How's that? Upgrade to a teacher premium, and it shows that it gives you more reporting than what you already have. It'll read the tests out loud to the students. Allows the a collaboration between individuals. It puts it in presentation mode, and actually on the Edulastic page, they show people doing live video conferences with their students and presenting certain aspects of the Edulastic test or assessment that you've given. You can also do rubric scoring on whatever thing that you're doing. I always say that you can have a formative assessment, but you also might want to have some way of doing some summative assessments through Edulastic, because it is so powerful. And then you have advanced assessment options, which it continually keeps saying that for me, but one of them that they say here is shuffle question order for each student, show student action, but hide correct answers. So it gives you a little bit different flexibility within the test, a little more security, a little bit more testing with fidelity. Okay, so here I am back in my test, and when you go to the test over here, there are options for your created, you could be a co-author or an author of these. And I've shown you already a little bit what it looks like. Here's question 1, question 2, question 3, and I go down to this area where I can either add multiple choice, text entry, drop down, math equations, true or false, and then allow the students to do an essay, a little bit of longer response. So I've done 1, 2, 3, and I can delete those if I want, but I've gone 1, 2, 3 like this. And then I'm going to go 4, so I'm just going to put text entry. I already forgot what the answer was. I think it was 7. And then for each one, for the text entry, you put what the correct answer is. I could add, there's another answer, and then I said exact match of that, how many points it's worth, and then you put all the standard options on it, which is what I put at the beginning of the details. So I'm going to hit done, and then it's going to put that answer over there for me. Oh, I was wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this one. It was 5 instead of 7. And then hit done. So after I'm done, I can review the test. And so I can go over here and see how the students are going to view it. And this is what I mean by you probably want to have your questions numbered. So I'm going to put a wrong answer so that the students know which direction you're going, up, down, however you're going to do it. So then I can show the answers, and then it has that I got these 3 right and this one incorrect. Check answers, and then it shows 1, 2, 3, show answers, and then I can clear and I can take it again. All of them have the settings option for it as well. Like I said, all of these are pretty much the same. The advanced options are hide answers, the rubric grading, and the show calculator. And when I'm done, I can do this link option, and I can actually share it with individuals to be able to help me work on it, collaborate on it. Also, I can copy the URL and paste it into my Google Classroom. But I think mainly what Edulastic wants us to do based on that Google Classroom sync, I hit assign, and then I'm going to proceed because I don't want to put any standards to it. And then now I can go through the options for assigning that to the class. Okay, so which class do I want to assign it to? I click on the transitioning to 100%. Just like any of the other learning management systems, this is not a learning management system, it's an assessment system, but I can go through and put some specific options to it, and I can even assign it to individual students, and then I can open date, close date, and then the policy automatic. Is it going to open automatically on the start date, or is it going to be open manually for the students and then close, same thing? And then I can give it whether it's a class assessment or a practice assessment. And then, of course, you have all this stuff down there that is going to happen based on if you upgrade or not, what is not going to happen based on the fact that you're not upgraded. All right, so that is what I can do, and I can click assign. And yay, it's been assigned to my class, and the students can be working on it right away. And then click on Google Classroom button to share the assignment. So now, even though it is connected to my Google Classroom kids, that just simplified bringing my kids into Edulastic. Now, I want to share that link into Google Classroom. So I have not done anything over there. It's done over here in Edulastic, but Google Classroom over here has nothing. I mean, they have no clue. So if my students are repeatedly going to Google Classroom to get their assignments and the next thing, this is where you want to take them. And then it's going to share that assignment over to my Google Classroom, so I don't have to do it in 2 places. And so there you go. It was already sent in there. So I'm going to hopefully show you what that looks like here. Okay, so based on the way that it shared it to my classroom, I'm not too happy with that. I still have to come in here and mess with it. Here it is. I might as well have just gone into my Google Classroom and pasted it myself. So that's kind of disappointing there to me. All I really needed to do was copy that. I thought maybe it would take me to Google Classroom just like some of the other tools do and show me, do you want to post it as a material, as a assignment, as a poll, as a, like what do you want to post it as? And poll wouldn't be an option. So any of you guys calling me out on that, that's you can't do a question this way. So it would be a material or an assignment. So I don't like the way that looks. So here it is over in my Google Classroom. It did put it in the class. That's awesome. But now I would have to drag it down to one of my topics. And actually I'd have to edit it and possibly make it an assignment if I wanted it to be an assignment. It depends on how I want it to interact with the stuff that I already have in Google Classroom. So now I'm going to show you the new test option. I'm just going to do from scratch. We've already done Snap. That was us uploading a PDF. You can also upload a PDF and do a blank response. But I'm going to just go create test, and this one's going to be create from blank or fresh or whatever you want to do. And I have the directions in there. And all of these things matter based on how you share the questions, or I'm sorry, the test. So if you're allowing other people to be public and other people use it, then this is important information. Also, it's good for sorting your stuff and searching and finding and indexing. So I'm going to hit add items, and I can add from the questions that are already in here. I can go authored by me. I have none. And then I can hit create a new item. And what do I want it to be? Okay, so let me back this up here. So well, let's not back it up too far. Let me get a question in here already. So I have the options of doing multiple choice, fill in the blank, classify, match, order. So you can see it's changing the option as I go down here. So I'm going to go short text and say, who was the character with the most nobility? Okay, and maybe we're reading a story and I want them, or the most noble characteristics or something of that sort. I would put my mind into it a little bit more than what I did. Now you get this editor up here. You can insert images, links. You have all of these options from math, subscript, superscript, and you can fancy it up a bit, make it nice. You can also insert videos to have the students watch something and then answer the question on that. So it's a little bit more intense of a interface to be able to add those things. And then each one, you have to say, what is the correct answer? How many points? How are you going to have it scored? Any text containing whatever, you can give it a value. But all of these things are in there to help the students either be graded or be led to getting the correct answer. So I'm going to hit cancel on that and go back to add items and show you how I navigated that add items. Oh, it wanted me to, now it took me out of my test and put me in another one. So I'm going to put ELA and 4. Yeah, the navigation is a little bit confusing. I continually keep getting outside of my test. So I'm going to go back, actually, I'm going to go back to test, and I'm going to say authored by me. And then, no, it didn't. It kicked me out. So I'm going to go back in here from scratch. It's because I canceled on that. I canceled on the whole test, I guess. So I'm going to go back in here and conflicts. I'd have my description. I'm going to put that it's 9th grade, ELA, and then I don't have any tags. Add an item, and it can be authored by me, so I can create a new item, or I can go look at the entire library of items that are associated with the tags and stuff that I put in there. So entire library. Oh, I love this one, and I'm going to add that one, and add that one. And then I'm going to go to authored by me and hit create new item. And now I'm going to do this one and drag and drop the right answer in the answer boxes below. Sample question text was okay. So, so this response option is going to be where they drop the answer into that question. Okay, so I typed up some of the things, so you didn't have to listen to me click, but so this is the drag and drop, and I started typing my question, and then I put my 3 responses down below, and I could add new and add new and new. So I type the cookie is, and then I just drag this down, and so I didn't drag it down, sorry, I clicked on it, and then it puts it in there for the drag and drop thing. And so now maybe I want to preview this. And then I look at delicious, fearful, the book is wonderful. And I don't have the answers in there, so I'm going to go back to edit mode, and you can set the correct answers. So I do that by going to the bottom area and dropping the ones in where they belong, and then shuffle the options. I can do that. Duplicated responses, I don't need to do that, but this is a way of changing it, making it a little bit more difficult for the students to interact with. Again, I can give feedback, I can give hints, I can explain all of those things, and then I'm going to hit save. And so now that question is involved in that as well. It's not associated with any standards. Yes, I get it. And then if I'm ready to do another one, then I can create a new item and then go back to all of these options as well. I think these are what you're going to need to do, besides me coming in here and showing you each example, which I'm more than happy to do that, but that's quite a long video. So multiple choice, I think you guys can walk through that one, fill in the blank with the drag and drop option, text drop down, text entry. So you have all these options that you can mess with. The one thing that they really emphasize on some of their tutorial videos is the math option for the students to interact with it that way, and the wonderful equation typing keyboard characters. You have the graphing, you have charts, and you have multi-part, and then things with instructions to give them direction in that quiz. So now I can add a video, now I can add text to explain them. So you're building your test items in here in the way that you feel that the students will understand that. So yeah, I would take the opportunity to go through each of these, and if you find that you want me to show you one specifically with certain content, then let me know and I will create those videos, or we can meet virtually one-on-one or with a group. I love hotspot. This used to be a smartboard thing, but it looks like you create the hotspot and then the students answer questions based on that area, that mapping that you've created. So yeah, I would just play with these first, and then don't play with them too long if you don't start to get discouraged with them, if you don't understand them. Just shoot me an email, and hopefully I'll be able to show you how to create those with a little bit more ease. Okay, so I found the error in my ways. Right up here I do have some, I call them breadcrumbs, so I can go backwards. So I can click on the name of the test and go back, and then I can see the backwards way of my test that I've created. Here's my drag and drop that I created. Here are the ones that I've chosen from the bank that they had. So on the add items, entire library, that's how I added them. And then I authored by me, I created new items, and then I can review it, go to my settings, and make sure everything's perfect in there. But now if I want to review it, I can view it as a student. I can remove certain things because they have the little check boxes here. And I can also physically move them up and down. And then you also have some other ways of experiencing that question item on this test. So this is a test, and each of these are considered items. But move up, down, expand rows, but I can do all that down here by myself as well. And it still has all my settings over here of what I said at the beginning. So I can alter those as I go. And now, just like any of the other ones, I can publish. So now it's published in my private library. And here's my link again. And then I can do the assign option as well, and assign it to which class. And as soon as it finds that, then it will allow me to fill in all this information if I want to assign it to certain students or to all the students. And then the start date, the end date, and then type. I want it to be a class assessment. So I think that's what made it an assignment and or a material. And so then I can hit assign. And then it's asked me again, do I want to send it to Google Classroom? And it's going to make it an assignment this time instead of a material. So it's going to send it out to my Google Classroom. So that's Edulastic. It's a pretty big program. I think if you go in there, this is how I would look at it. Go in there, Google single sign-on. You can sync it with your Google Classroom if you want to. You don't have to. If you're Schoology, you might want to look into your tech team because it does say that it'll sync with Schoology. I'm sorry, Schoology as well, and other learning management systems. So you may want to have your tech person look into that. But also to ease into Edulastic, because it can be pretty intense. Maybe just go and look at their library first and use those quizzes and assign them to your students. And even if you don't add your Google Classroom, just find that test and then assign it, and it'll give you a link, and then you can copy and paste that link wherever you like. And I think that'll be the best way to get started with it. And then you can ease your way into creating your own test, creating your own items, and going through those steps. And remember that as soon as I create that test, I have to publish that test, and then I can assign that test. Now, when I go back to my Edulastic, I'm going to see in my creations, my authoring, I'm going to see one question and one test that I've created. So like I said, start basic, look at the built-in thousands of tests that they have, assessments that they have, and then hit assign, and then just copy and paste the link wherever you want to paste it. And then we can move on from there. And as always, you can email me at sanders@nwoet.org if you have any additional questions, and I'll get more detailed in another video if you request that. Okay, so thanks for joining me for Edulastic, and we'll see you in whatever video I do next. All right, take care.